From the news, President Buhari launches 62.1 billion naira HIV trust fund. The Ogun State Police Commission parades 4 teenage suspects of alleged ritual murder. And Icrc fears for the hardship for internally displaced persons as federal government closes camps. We're glad to have you join us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. President Muhammadu Buhari has launched a 62.1 billion naira fund to improve efforts towards sustaining the country's HIV response. The president at the event expressed optimism that the private sector-led initiative will surpass the 62 billion naira target in the next 5 years. Buhari added that the fund will also provide the requisite treatment for HIV-positive mothers while contributing to closing the funding gap for HIV in Nigeria.
Ending AIDS as a public health threat in Nigeria will require increased domestic funding. We have continued to make good our commitment of placing more people living with HIV on treatment annually using national resources. However, strong domestic resources mobilization with an enduring partnership and shared responsibility is required to sustain the response to HIV and other emerging public health emergencies. Our purposeful partnership with the private sector in our response to coronavirus pandemic provide a readily available financing solution that we can leverage on to sustain the HIV response.
The United States remains committed to supporting Nigeria in reaching and sustaining HIV epidemic control, but we also believe that national ownership is critical to its success. This is where the private sector, which depends on a healthy workforce, comes in. The HIV Trust Fund represents a major component of the government's resource mobilization strategy. Private sector support for HIV is critical to sustaining current programs, particularly for commodities such as test kits and drugs.
Police authorities in Ogun State have paraded 4 teenage suspects believed to have killed a young girl for money-making ritual in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The command's public relations officer, Abimbola Oyeyemi, while parading the suspect on Monday, said the suspects confessed to have lured their victim to an abandoned building where they murdered the victim. Oyeyemi said the victims were within the ages of 17 and 20 years, confessed that they burnt the head of the victim in a local port when they were caught. In their confession, the boys said they decided to kill the victim, simply identified as Sofiat, after getting information on money-making rituals on social media.
4 young boys were seen burning something in a local port in Okaregba area at about 3 a.m. This rose their suspicions and they quickly lodged complaint at our divisional headquarters in Adaton. Upon the information, the DPO Adaton division quickly led his men to the scene where 3 of the suspects were arrested. The 4th one escaped. On interrogation, the 3 arrested one confirmed to us that what they are burning is a woman's head. And they confessed that the head belongs to a lady simply known as Sofiat Kennedy, a 20-year-old girl. And that the deceased happened to be a girlfriend to one of them by name Soliu Majekodumi. It was this Soliu that lured the girl to an abandoned building where they squeezed the neck of the victim, and after killing her, they used a cutlass to cut off the head. The 3 of them were taken to the station And on the further interrogation, they made us to realize that they want to use it for money-making rituals. Following the CP directive, the DPO and his detectives launched a very serious manhunt for Majakodome Soliu, and in about 2 or 3 hours, we were able to get him arrested in his hideout.
The International Committee of the Red Cross, Icrc, has expressed concerns about the situation of internally displaced persons in Maiduguri after the federal government's decision to close camps for the group in the state. The committee, in a statement signed by its public relations officer Aliyu Dawobe, explained that the IDPs are extremely vulnerable as they have lost their belongings and livelihood, which might make reintegration back into the society difficult. Icrc further maintained that some families are willing to go back to their homes, but fear for their safety as well as the lack of access to basic amenities has also made resettlement difficult. Well, joining me to discuss this further is the Public Relations Officer, Icrc in Nigeria, Lucian Christian. Thank you very much for joining us on News Now. Now, please share with us Icrc's concerns for Nigeria's internally displaced persons. Do you think these groups of people are more vulnerable now?
Thank you very much. As your introduction clearly stated, those persons have been displaced, sometimes many on several occasions, fleeing the conflict in the northeast Nigeria. Most of them have lost their belongings, their sources of income, and they are in those camps without access to basic needs such as food, water, healthcare. It's estimated that 2.2 million are currently being displaced in northeast Nigeria, and the vast majority, over half of them, are children and women. So when we look into healthcare, our teams in the field have observed an increase of cases of malnutrition, especially among children under 5. Women that are pregnant also face sometimes complications. So yes, these people are extremely vulnerable. They have also often lost some family members that they're trying to search through our services. So yes, the needs are huge, and the solution needs to be found.
Now, in its defense, the federal government of Nigeria said the IDP camps are temporary, but what more do you think could be done to ensure a smooth transition back to society, especially since some of these areas are still battling insecurity?
Yes, you are right. Look, not later than last weekend, the Vice President of the Icrc, Mr. Gilles Carbonnier, visited Bama camp, close to Maiduguri, as well as Gubio camp in Maiduguri. The main concern the families shared, the one that are willing to return to their home, of course, after sometimes years of displacement, is the security. They want to go back home, but they want to do it in a secure and dignified way. Now, the second issue that they raised to our delegation is the lack of food, water, and healthcare. So for them to be able to go back home and to rebuild their lives, to rebuild their sources of income and livelihood, durable solution needs to be found. Our organization is working towards this. For example, in Maiduguri, we have developed one of the water system to allow over 83,000 people to access fresh drinking water. We support an hospital. We provide essential household items to the people that are being displaced. But the main interrogation we have now is how will we be able to access these people if they go in areas that are not secure.
Well, Lucian Christian, PRO, International Committee of the Red Cross in Nigeria, thank you very much for your time. Well, moving on with the Federal Capital Territory Area Council election just 11 days away, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC says it's leaving nothing to chance towards a credible and peaceful poll. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu gave this assurance at the meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security in Abuja. Speaking further at the gathering, which aims to review security situation for the election, Yakubu reveals that the Commission is engaging critical stakeholders to ensure nothing but success for the election.
In the next few days, the Commission will intensify its engagement with stakeholders, particularly party leaders, transport providers, civil society organizations, and the media. We will work with all stakeholders to ensure that the forthcoming election is peaceful and our processes credible. That is why this meeting is crucial. Securing the environment is the foundation for a peaceful, well-organized and credible election. This was clearly demonstrated in the peaceful conduct of the recent Anambra State governorship election. Let us make the FCT Area Council election another shining example of a peaceful election.
As the Commission puts in final touches to the FCT chairmanship and councillorship election, scheduled for 12th of February 2022, it wishes to note that the FCT election is not known to have recorded any form of violence in the past, and he urged all security agencies to replicate the level of professionalism being exhibited in the last Anambra election.
In major cities across the world, pedestrian bridges are constructed for the singular purpose of helping pedestrians cross busy highways without exposing themselves to the risk of being knocked down by motorists. The reverse is, however, the case in Nigeria, as many pedestrians have abandoned these bridges. Despite all efforts by the government to ensure that citizens use these bridges, lots of reasons have been brought forward by citizens who try to establish a case for neglecting the pedestrian bridge. Our correspondent, Mr. Ladigun, tells us more in this report.
Pedestrian bridges are the most vital form of infrastructure put in place for the safety and easy mobility for pedestrians. Given the ever-busy nature of the roads, they are found in several parts of Lagos to aid residents crossing the highways without the risk of getting hit by vehicles in motion. Unfortunately, just a fraction of pedestrians use the bridges for the purpose they were installed.
I've been standing at the foot of the popular PWD bridge for the past 1 hour, and in that space of time, just a handful of people have made use of the pedestrian bridge. Now, it's interesting to note that this particular busy expressway is of 4 lanes, 2 of which are designated to BRT buses, which increases the risk of being hit. Now, the question is, why do people shun pedestrian bridges while risking their lives crashing across busy roads?
Refusal of many pedestrians to use overhead bridges is a constant sight in a city like Lagos. The situation becomes more critical when motorcyclists convert the bridges to an accessibility path. Just like in other parts of the country, various law enforcement officials are stationed at strategic points to ensure adherence to instructions, but their presence is hardly felt, hence the establishment of the Kick Against Indiscipline Unit (KAI) by the Lagos State government in 2003 to ensure compliance to road safety rules. Despite the presence of KAI officials, Bukola Adeniyi says pedestrians are averse to obeying traffic safety laws.
Here is far from the bus stop. Not only all of them that are passing here. So they normally stay in that bus stop when they wanted to cross. But mainly for the students that are using it. They are the most ones that are using the bridge. I still get some men, some adults that are using it. If they want to cross, I'll go and meet them. They should not cross. Just make use of the bridge before they cross. I face a lot of challenges here, especially for the bike people. It's mainly for policemen that are using bike to take over from the bridge. From then I face a lot. There are some hooligans guys. You are trying to chase them away, but some of them are stubborn. They don't normally go in time. Once I wait, I allow them to go before I take my picture.
The Lagos State government has repeatedly shown its commitment towards pedestrian safety by constructing and renovating some footbridges in the state. It is the civic responsibility of pedestrians to use bridges where they've been provided. But some pedestrians say crossing the highway is worth the risk due to the stress involved in using the bridges.
The bridge, though it's good, but it's a long walk. So I'm in an haste somewhere. And the road is kind of free now. Assuming there's hold up and everything, the bus, they won't give space for people to cross. Some are afraid of heights. Because one of my cousins, it has happened to her before. So she said she don't want to use the bridge because of the height and everything. So some are afraid of height.
I don't like crossing express. Anywhere, anywhere I go, there's a bridge. I love going through the bridge. There's some people are afraid of those boys sleeping there. Because some of them, that where is their house, where they sleep morning and night. And some of them are bad, but they can attack person at any time.
Because of those people that always stay on the bridge, they're always like scary. When we see them, we'll be afraid to climb the bridge. So some prefer crossing than using the bridge. In our school, they've told us that we should always use the bridge because of having accidents failingly. So they said we should always use the bridge.
Some don't use it because they want to hurry up and cross the road because they are in hurry. Crossing that they can cause accident to themselves. There should be something like a barricade so that they can stop people from crossing without using the pedestrian bridge.
Statistics from the Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC) reveal that only 13 out of 40 Nigerian pedestrians use the bridge at the average of 1 minute, increasing the casualties of hit-and-run incidents in the country. Simisola Dibo, TV360, Lagos.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Burkina Faso military names coup leader as president. Details of the story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari has launched a 62.1 billion naira fund to improve efforts towards sustaining the country's HIV response. The president at the event expressed optimism that the private sector-led initiative will surpass the 62 billion naira target in the next 5 years. We also told you that police authorities in Ogun State have paraded 4 teenage suspects believed to have killed a young girl for money-making ritual in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The command's public relations officer, Abimbola Oyeyemi, while parading the suspect on Monday, said the suspect confessed to have lured their victim to an abandoned building where they murdered the victim. But in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website at www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. With one fatality reported, Nigeria on Monday recorded 158 additional coronavirus infections across 10 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). The latest statistics released by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) indicates a significant decrease in the figure of newly confirmed cases. Anambra State reported 82 cases, while Lagos and Akwa Ibom states logged in 35 and 13 cases respectively. Nigeria now has a total of 253,181 cases and 3,136 deaths logged in the 36 states and the FCT. The World Health Organization (WHO) has warned countries that the huge amount of medical waste produced as a result of tackling the COVID-19 pandemic poses a threat to human and environmental health. In a new report, the United Nations Health Agency said waste syringes, used test kits and old vaccine bottles have all piled up to create thousands of tons of medical waste, putting a huge strain on healthcare waste management system. The 71-page document said a large share of the 87,000 tons of personal protective equipment, PPE, ordered by countries to cope with the coronavirus pandemic ended up as waste. I will take a break here and return with more stories and business. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Now we now have Simisala Adigun on standby to bring us the latest in the world of business. Over to you, Simi.
Thank you, Folashade. In business, the Senate has moved to establish the Solid Minerals Development Bank of Nigeria to enhance access to finances by stakeholders in the sector. The bill was passed after Yakubu Hosseini, senator representing Kogi Central and sponsor of the legislation, led a debate on it on Thursday. Hosseini said the bill will help the federal government in diversifying the country's economy and creating jobs. He added that the bill would also enable borrowers in the sectors to have a longer period to repay the loans from the Solid Minerals Development Bank, unlike what is obtainable with deposit money or commercial banks.
There is no way commercial bank will give you a startup capital. If you want to take a loan, either soft loan or commercial loan from any bank, any commercial banks, of course, you must be somewhere before they will shut. At a point where they will just come to reap from your business, not to even support you as such, and with a very high rate of interest. So we believe that with this bank, with the establishment of this bank, startup capital can be given to young graduates that want to go into one form of mineral exploration or the other. I think that is what informed this, because they said that an idle mind is a devil's workshop, and the state of insecurity in this country cannot be completely, divert from the level of unemployment we have in the land.
We'll take a short break here and be back with Stock Market Report. The Nigerian stock market ended Tuesday's trading on a positive note amid sell-offs and buy interest as the benchmark all-share index appreciated by 47,111.21 basis points, while capitalization remained at 25 trillion naira. Investors say increased bargain hunting may have been attributed to expectations of positive earnings and big expectations from banking stocks due to the sector's upward trend in dividend yield. 112 NGS equities participated in Tuesday's trading, ending with 36 gainers and 21 losers. On the gainers list, Seplat and corn oil came out tops with a combined 897 naira 1 kobo gain. The losers counter is led by Cabertine and Etana, ending with a loss of 7 naira 7 kobo. At the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, we go back there now. Total volume of 341 million volume of shares valued at 3.7 billion naira were traded in 6,417 deals. Now on to select global stocks. London's FTSE, US Dow Jones and Japan's Nikkei ended Tuesday positive with 0.89%, 0.046% and 0.28% respectively. Mining and banking stocks lifted London's FTSE with an upbeat outlook from the AG Bar brand, contributing to the positive sentiment. US Dow Jones extended gains from the past two sessions as focus turned to data on manufacturing and job openings. For the Nikkei, local brokers pointed out that Japanese firm stocks, while reporting solid quarterly earnings, found particular favor as they are still deemed comparatively affordable. That's all on Stock Market Review. Back to you, Folashade.
Well, many thanks, Simi. And now the foreign scene, Burkina Faso's military government has appointed coup leader Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Damiba as head of state for transitional period. In a televised statement, the military also announced it had approved a fundamental act that leads to suspension of the constitution, a move that had been declared after the January 24 coup. The 37-article document guarantees independence of the judiciary and presumption of innocence, as well as basic liberties spelled out in the constitution, such as freedom of movement and freedom of speech. The move came shortly after the African Union suspended Burkina Faso for the takeover and diplomats from West Africa and the United Nations pressed demands for a return to civilian rule. Well, up next is Entertainment Reporter News Now.
Nigerian singer Davido has gifted one of his aides, Israel DMW, a brand new car. In an online video posted on his Instagram, Israel DMW, whose real name is Afiare Israel, was excited to receive the documents of the vehicle from his boss. Although it is not clear what exactly he does for the music star, but he can be described as one of his loyal staff. Israel DMW manages logistics for the label company Davido Music World and has also been on the news in recent times. In 2021, the music star suspended Israel after he publicly declared support for embattled Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari. Principal photography is set to kick off for Ethan Michael's latest project, Singing Scene, a feature film set in the 1980s. In an interview, the director said the film will center on the story of strong and independent women who risk it all for their dreams. The forthcoming film will see Nollywood royalty Omotola Jalade Ekende star in the lead role alongside media superstar Toke Makinwa. And that is all that we have for you in the entertainment segment of News Now.
Away from entertainment and now to sports, Manchester United striker Mason Greenwood has reportedly been dropped from FIFA 22 following rape allegations. After a database update for all platforms, including Xbox, PlayStation and PC, Greenwood no longer features in the popular computer game for offline modes. Greenwood had been arrested on suspicion of rape and assault on Sunday afternoon, having been accused of violence towards his 18-year-old girlfriend, and has since remained in police custody. That's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.